the Cheshire Cat. You know, because I say so every day on the show so that you'll never forget. But of course you would never forget anyway, huh? Because I am so memorable. It's true. Once you've met me, you'll never forget. You know, as I sit around in the pandemic, often I go down wormholes of ideas. And lately I've been thinking about supervillains, you know, all the evil people in Batman and Spider-Man and, you know, Black Panther. All these movies have villains, and I too have defeated many villains. Evil condo developers, evil chefs, trolls, other creatures. Why do I vanquish them so easily? Because I'm a cat, and I can just stare at them, and they are vanquished. Here, I will try it on you. I will stare at you. Are you vanquished yet? No, you're still there. Well, that is because you are good. I can only vanquish evil people, so this is a very good sign, in fact. A sign that you are wonderful. Oh, do you hear that? It means there's a present. And this present seems to have come over my email. Wait a second. I did not sign up for this email list. It is telling me that there is a course to learn to be a piper. It is 11 lessons long, and it costs a pie. So they think I'm a Pied Piper? Fortunately, I have a pie right here. So piping, here I come. On with the show.
Grow up and stare at it. About a big horn.
Let's do it! Let's pierce my nose.
All right.
Hi, my name is Meghan Hoople, and I'm representing clowns across Toronto. This is a fundraiser for the Red Sandcastle Theatre. It's one of my favorite theatres. I know a lot of clowns have passed through it. Like and share this episode, because without small theatres, where would clowns perform? Can't run wild without a small theatre to do it in. So, donate to Red Sandcastle Theatre.
Cause I know all the games we play.
Cause I'm playing them too. Oh, but I need some boots now for my kids. Sorry.
It's time to make your goals up off the floor.
Yes.
And now for the interview portion of the show. It is a very special interview that we have for you today. Why? Because we have Rosemary Doyle herself, the creator of the pantomime, the co-writer, the owner of the wonderful Red Sandcastle Theatre where all the magic happens, and also the designer for many pantomimes, occasionally even the director. Many hats.
And our 9th annual pantomime closing night of our biennial. This is epic. Woo! Now, the crazy thing is, I have to get to that seat because everybody wants me to record the last take. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you come out here with me, and after I make my announcement, I'm going to stand on that chair, hop over, sit in that one, and we'll be all good. No, all good. All good. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so welcome to the 9th annual pantomime Captain.
Oh, hello, Rosemary.
Hello, how are you, Cheshire? So nice to see you.
I am always wonderful because I am perfect.
I know.
But one thing that has always been particularly magical with the pantomimes is the set design.
I'm quite missing making a set, actually. My favorite thing was the Aladdin is cat. I love that set.
What was the magical element of Aladdin is cat?
Oh, so it goes from actually a boat at sea to a genie to a pirate ship to wherever Aladdin takes place. And then it comes back out again. And I, at the time, was pretty fascinated with Victorian set design, the way that everything had to be really flat. So I had a little ship, which I made out of wood with waves, that expanded and then became a larger pirate ship because we brought in other pieces. And then those pieces of the ship transformed into pillars. Actually, I ended up having to cast myself as a set changer in various costumes because it was a little more complicated to figure out. So it was quite fun to actually be a part of it that year because normally I kind of just do the box office and then hide downstairs and listen to people laughing.
There was like a Russian doll of sets, where there was
Yeah.
more sets as the doll collapsed and came together. But there have been many magical sets. Do you recall the Shoemaker and the pantomimes? What was unique about that set?
The actual stage was like an X. Audience was on four corners, so all the audience could look at each other.
This was the runway, right?
Yeah, it was a runway. So we had this fashion show thing going on because it was all with the evil fashion designer. All the shoes hanging from the ceiling. And then we also got the sign from the Value Village sign, yeah.
And I remember Rapunzel had a girl in a tower that wheeled all around the theater. It was crazy.
So we bought a tiny little scaffolding, which came in very handy actually later on for actually changing the light. Did a fabric castle around it.
Every show had a wonderful feature. There was the elevator that also spun around and opened doors. We did many magic tricks. In the Blonderland, we actually lifted the girl. We suspended her from the ceiling so Alice could fall down the tunnel.
Exactly. And it was a good thing. She was very light, which helped. That we had someone from Cirque du Soleil was actually the knot tire. So they took the ropes and they tied the knots all properly so that everybody was completely safe when they were suspended. And we had a swing where the ropes from the swing ended up attaching onto her instead. So sometimes it was a swing and sometimes it was what carried her around.
Let me ask you about the writing now. What is the process for creating the pantomimes?
Jane Shields, who's like my best friend in New York City, and she's a playwright. She graduated from Tisch. She does kind of the initial pantomime. We decide what story we want to do, because it's always a fractured fairy tale. And then I go in there and I pantomime it up a bit, you know, where I make it a little sillier. I have the voice of the cat.
No, this is not true. I have my own voice.
Exactly.
What is this propaganda that you are putting out into the world?
Anyway, so we do that. I'm in charge mostly of being and then doing the initial draft of pantomiming up the songs, so making the parodies of the songs. And then we give it to the actors and the director, Jackie English, but it's always an improvement. So it's kind of like a 3-stage of getting closer and closer to what a pantomime should be. So it's quite fun.
I have heard
very
wonderful
collaborative
things about this Jackie English. It sounds
English is amazing. She's a choreographer as well. One year when Jackie was like, I cannot do the choreography, it was okay because she was hanging around anyway, because, you know, you always miss pantomime. And I'd be like, you think maybe you could, here's my choreography, which is really bad on purpose. And then she would fix it. And then, you know, I'm a little sneaky that way.
I believe the word is Machiavellian because it's for good. You
It
know?
is for good.
And I know that the cat had 9 lives. So last year was potentially the last show of the cat. But then there seemed to be a loophole in the show.
But last year we put in a TARDIS. Which means that each of these cats can appear in other times and places. So now the cat can go on forever. I should be that like fake guy who did the sign language for whatever and got caught. Because it's like ridiculous. Anyway.
You are referring to speaking with your hands. There's nothing wrong with speaking with your hands. It's very clear.
It's very clear.
My paws are currently being chewed because as you know, I'm a babysitter.
Oh,
Pandemic, a puppy
the
sitter.
pandemic makes us do horrible things.
Yes. This is what
so
happens when Serb runs out, huh? Let me ask you this. If somebody had never been to the Red Sandcastle Theater, how would you explain it to them?
I opened it because I wanted a creative space for theater artists to be able to do their work easily. Like any visual artist would want a canvas thing. It's a black box theater. You can fit 50 to 80 people comfortably, which I know now seems very hazardous and we're all going to die. But eventually that won't happen anymore and we'll be allowed to be back together. Like, I can't believe with what we've been through this year that sometimes we would have shows where it would be so sold out that I would have like boyfriends letting their girlfriends sit on their lap so that they could watch a show together because there was only one seat and they wanted to see it. So I want to get back to where that is a joyous, beautiful thing. It's a theater. It has lights. It has chairs. It has a sound system. It's not fancy, but it is magical. And the tagline for the place is anything is possible. And I really believe that over the 10 years that the Red Sandcastle Theater has been in existence, that has proven to be true. So I keep it nice and cheap and cheerful. because it's not a money-making thing for me. It's an art-making thing for the universe.
And this is why we are working hard to keep it alive during the pandemic, so that when it comes back, we are ready for it and it is ready for us.
And think of all the performers out there right now who are just creating and creating and creating. All that brilliant output is going to be beautiful. I hope that what we end up doing is having like a universal basic income, so all of us artists can just like actually create and do wonderful things, because the world is a wonderful place and we might as well enjoy it while we're here. That's all.
Well said. That is bringing us to the end of the interview. I have been ending every interview with our famous Panto handshake, but this is actually the coming up to the end of the 12 Days of Cheshire, where we have been fundraising. So you've heard all the beautiful things about the theater. Please go and donate and keep that alive. So thank you very much, Rosemary. Put your paw on my paw. And we're going to say, go Panto!
Go Panto!
Will you marry me?
Oh, yes, will, honey, yes.
Great. What's your name? There's no other name in this show. Come on. All right, big guy. Are you ready to spend the rest of your life with this? Well, better than prison.
And now it's time for the news.
Hey everybody, it's me, Matt. I'm a pantomime player and I've got news or something, I don't know. Is there breaking news today? Yeah, there's breaking news. Hi, this is Matt from Pantomime Players Action News. Wait a second. Am I a puppet? I think I'm a puppet. Well, breaking news. I'm a puppet. I'm a puppet. Okay. I'm gonna be okay. Just breathe. Just breathe. I guess being a puppet's not so bad. You know, I just learned something about myself. As the anchor of Pantomime Action News, I think I've always been a puppet. You know, in the metaphorical sense, not in the actual sense. But now, I think I really see myself. Well, back to you, Actual Matt. Actual Matt? What? Am I a clone too? Oh, breaking news! That was great. Well, goodbye.
It wouldn't be an episode of the late night show with the Cheshire Cat without, yes, an intermission treat. So here you go.
Hello, and welcome to Pandemic Panto Intermission Treats. As you curl up on a cold, blustery day with your computer or your phone, what better way to enjoy the panto than with a nice cup of hot chocolate with homemade marshmallows. I'll show you how. Once you have your mug of hot chocolate and your homemade marshmallows, you're going to take a pair of tongs and carefully place a marshmallow into your hot chocolate. Bon appetit!
Oh, it makes me so hungry to watch the little tricks get made. Welcome back to Storytime. Today's story is the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Long ago in Germany, there were many cats, but one cat stood out, sort of like me. But not exactly like me, because no cat stands out like Cheshire. Nevertheless, he was a cat amongst cats, and was known as the Burgmeister. He was leader of all the cats in Germany. You may not know this, but cats are very well organized. We have a global organization, much like the United Nations that humans operate. Most of the work of this organization involves making decisions about the allocation of wealth and resources. If this confuses you, our global currency is rats and mice. This works quite well. Households with a cat are provided a specific territory in which the cat is allowed to hunt. If there is abundance of rats and mice in the area, another cat is dispatched as well. Cats are very efficient planners. Well, we're really efficient at everything, so planning goes along with that. However, many years ago in Europe, the leadership decided to centralize mouse and rat distribution. It was a golden age. All cats were located in one location, Italy, around the Vatican, as the weather in the steppes there were particularly appealing. Then an elite squad of trained human pipers were dispatched around Europe. They used their piping skills to lure the mice and rats into one location, and then would continue playing and delicious vermin would follow them straight to the waiting company of cats. It was like Uber Eats for felines. In addition, the humans in the town would pay the pipers money for this. Like, we tip Uber drivers, so it was a win-win for the cats and the pipers. The cats found the entire setup hilarious. They were just rolling in the wealth of rats and mice. The cats all had golden litter boxes. There was catnap toys everywhere. It was really truly a heaven for cats. One day, we dispatched a piper to the city of Hamlin, as it had a rat infestation. It seemed to be a completely typical situation. The piper went in, negotiated the fee, performed his piping, and the rats and mice followed him out of town. He led the mice to the Burgmeister cat, who was pleased, as it was his daughter's wedding. The cats in the cat kingdom feasted. The piper returned to Hamlin to collect his fee. But once he arrived, the mayor of Hamlin refused to pay. The piper was furious. He had done his part, he had piped, but the mayor just laughed. The rats and mice are gone, and we aren't paying you anything. Evil laughter here. The piper returned to the cat kingdom to return the mice, but the rats and the mice were already eaten. What can we do? Said the piper. The mayor is right. His problem is gone. Burgermeister Cat was furious. No one treated those in his command with such disdain. Burgermeister demanded that the piper return to Hamlin and use his magical piping skills to lure all the children of Hamlin back to the cat kingdom. The Burgermeister's second-in-command, Cutius, was doubtful. But what are we going to do with all the children once we have them here? The Burgermeister hadn't thought of that, but there was no time to solve the problem. The piper had to be paid. Burgermeister walked with the piper all the way back, and when they arrived, the piper started playing, and all of the children gathered and started to follow the piper out of town, just like the mice and the rats. The townspeople chased after them, wanting to save their children, but the piper explained that someone had to pay the piper first. The people of Hamlin seemed to care more about money than their kids, so they backed off, and the piper continued on. But now what? Thought Burgermeister. Cutius was right. What are we going to do with all these children? We can't take them to Rome and the cat kingdom. Thousands of children would be a terror, stepping on tails, pulling at tails, petting them roughly. It would be a disaster. Not to mention that all the children were starting to cry because they were so hungry on this long journey. So they paused for a moment and Suddenly, Burgermeister had the idea of taking a meatball, squishing it between two pieces of bread to feed the children that way, so at least they would stop crying. And therefore, the hamburger was born and has been a hit with children all over the world ever since. As for the people of Hamlin who did not pay, they suffered longer-lasting consequences. Hamlin is now a no-go zone for cat hunting, so to this day, any cat who lives in Hamlin will never catch a rat or a mouse, and it's overrun with vermin. Oh, and also the bird population is in jeopardy as an added insult. As for the children of Hamlin, they were the start of the Children's Crusade. Crusades were very popular at the time because the world is very strange. You can look at that. It went very badly. The moral of the story, always tip your Uber driver. The end. And this is the end of episode 11. Tomorrow we have a very special episode. Yes, we do. is tomorrow we meet the director of the pantomime. Oh, I hear she's wonderful. I hear good things all the time.